I want to tell you the story of Brian and Anna Walsh. They were a Massachusetts couple who were married with 3 children. Anna worked as a regional general manager out of Washington, D.C., and she was married to Brian because everyone in Massachusetts is called Brian. This particular Brian is a piece of shit. And he sold a fake painting to somebody and got caught. So in 2021, he was sentenced to basically a home arrest, probably restitution, but definitely a home arrest. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff about this guy. He was taken out of his own father's will. In it, his father wrote he wished him good wishes, nothing else. Then he sued his dad's estate, to which his dad was a doctor. Several of his doctor friends had to come out and testify that this man, Brian, was a sociopath who stole a substantial amount of money from his father and then tried to sue his estate for the rest of his money, which he did not get. So he is, like I said, a piece of shit. As far as Brian and Anna go, they're not doing so hot. By December 27th of 2022, he is over there Googling furiously, what is the best state to divorce for a man? And I don't know what he found out, but it seems like this Google search might have said something like anywhere but Massachusetts, because he's eventually going to have a dinner party for New Year's Eve. Just how many days after this? 4 days after this search. They have a friend over. The friend leaves about 1:30, supposedly goes to sleep. In the morning, he wakes up. Wifey goes on a little trip. Next thing you know, she's disappeared. No one has heard from Anna. And who do you think turns her in or calls to find out where the wife is? Spoiler alert, it's not Brian.
On January 4th of 2023, Cohasset Police received a call from her Washington, D.C. employer indicating that she was missing. She was due to report to work on January 4th, but did not appear. She had a flight on January 3rd from Logan to D.C., which she did not board. Cohasset Police went to their house at Chief Justice Cushing Highway for a well-being check. It was only at this time, when they met with the defendant, that he first reported his wife missing.
So when they go to Brian's house, he tells them, like, he has all these things that he did. Go ahead and check. I was over here doing this. And so they do. They go start their massive search for Anna. And they say that they take their state police off of, or their local police off of all their assignments, and they start this massive hunt for her, to look for her. And they tell him that you're naturally a suspect, nothing to be worried about, that's normal, so you need to really help us find her, because if you're untruthful, this is going to be a problem. And even though they tell him that, he still lies about where he's at, because they go to Whole Foods and they go to CVS and he doesn't show up on any of the video surveillance. I'm like, what the shit, dude? So they arrested his ass. He said he's not guilty. He didn't know. He didn't do it. But ADA Lynn Belland, who I so wish ADA Lally's last name was Belland, because that's hilarious. That would have just... He is. If you know, you know, but he is. So anyways, she's all over this, and she arrests his ass for sending her people on a wild goose chase. And while they're holding him, they come across some more interesting information.
On January 5th, review of the data from defendant's phone showed his phone traveled at 8 a.m., first to his daycare and then to Swampscott, where his mother resides. The phone traveled to the complex where his mother lives at 9:30 a.m., went for about 5 minutes around the building to the southeast corner. In the southeast corner of that complex is where there is a dumpster. The dumpster was later secured and searched. On January 8th, police and crime scene services searched the house in Cohasset. They found blood in the basement, a knife with the presence of blood. The defendant was seen on surveillance at the Home Depot in Rockland. In checking the surveillance, the defendant is observed on a security camera pushing a cart. Items included cleaning products, mops, brushes, tape, tarp, a tie-deck suit with boot covers, buckets, goggles, baking soda, a hatchet. He had a face mask and rubber gloves on at the time he was pushing the cart in Home Depot.
This is this guy's murder kit. And it seems like it's going to work out for him, because it looks to me like Norfolk County DA Michael Morrissey is in charge, and we know what the standard in Norfolk County is for evidence. So you can rest assured that the solo cups, the leaf blowers, and the Stop and Shop bags were definitely utilized in the collection.
On January 8th, police and crime scene services searched the house in Cohasset. They found blood in the basement, a knife with the presence of blood. The knife was damaged. A second knife was also found in that basement. In addition, there was heavy-duty, large top plastic liners purchased from that Home Depot trip. Investigators did secure and search the dumpster.
It looks to me like Norfolk County DA Michael Morrissey is in charge, and we know what the standard in Norfolk County is for evidence. So you can rest assured that the solo cups, the leaf blowers, and the Stop and Shop bags were definitely utilized in the collection of all this stuff, because over the last 22 now days in court, and I think 6 or 7 weeks total of trial, we've been introduced to this team of geniuses who have really helped explain how to become experts and analysts. I especially feel confident that the CERT people are great at searching for things, and that the trooper detectives in the county office are really, really good at investigating things. I mean, they've gained my confidence after all of this. And we know them because Brian Walshe, the lead detective in that case, is Trooper Proctor, the lead detective in Karen Reed's case, who we know is definitely has his name on every piece of evidence there is. He's collected all of the evidence. He's done all of the nonsense. But there's something else about this case that makes it interesting, because we're about to learn in the next week or two about the Celebrate data of Jen McCabe's search for how long to die in the cold. She searched it at 2:27 in the morning, and they are going to bring in experts to tell us that that's not what you think it is, that cell phones and searches and extraction files aren't at all what you think they are. It's not as accurate and straightforward as you might have seen. Deleted doesn't always mean deleted. Searched for probably doesn't even always mean searched for. So we'll see what kind of bullshit they can come up with and get this expert to testify to. And then they'll just pull him in to this next case and try to get a real murderer off with real murder using bad data from the case that I almost said aired, but that was tried right before it, because they're waiting. When Karen Reed finishes, they will start the Walshe case. But I didn't yet tell you what Mr. Walsh's Google searches were. He was not as restrained as our very cold, very in shock for a very long time, very wonderful friend Jen, very full of MS. Friend Jen, he wasn't as restrained as her. So where she only searched her thing 3 or 4 times, tried to cover her tracks, he was a whole fucking idiot. Listen to what he did.
At 4:55 a.m. on January 1st, he searched how long before a body starts to smell. At 4:58 a.m., how to stop a body from decomposing. At 5:20 a.m., he searched how to embalm a body. At 5:47 a.m., 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. At 6:25 a.m. on the 1st, how long for someone to be missing to inherit. At 6:34 a.m. on the 1st, can you throw away body parts? At 9:29 a.m., what does formaldehyde do? At 9:34 a.m. on the 1st, how long does DNA last? At 9:59 a.m., can identification be made on partial remains? At 11:34 a.m., dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. At 11:44, how to clean blood from wooden floor. At 11:56 on the 1st, luminol to detect blood. At 1:08, what happens when you put body parts in ammonia? At 1:21 p.m., is it better to throw crime scene clothes away or wash them? There were also more Google searches on January 2nd. At 12:45 p.m., hacksaw best tool to dismember. At 1:10 p.m., can you be charged with murder without a body? At 1:14 p.m., can you identify a body with broken teeth? On January 2nd, following those, the defendant was seen on surveillance at the Home Depot in Rockland. At 1:02 p.m., he did some more Google searches. What happens to hair on a dead body? At 1:13 p.m., what is the rate of decomposition of a body found in a plastic bag compared to on a surface in the woods? At 1:20 p.m., can baking soda mask or make a body smell good?
All that being said, do you think this sideshow will drop the ball on this murder too? Or do you think they'll find the killer in this case? I don't know. After all, he didn't Google, this is Brian Walsh, I'm from Massachusetts, I need help getting rid of a body because I was thinking straight when I murdered my wife, whose name is definitely Anna Walsh. It's signed though. Signed Trooper Proctor. Oh wait, shit. Don't put that last part. That's your real name. None of this is funny. I'm not trying to make jokes, but it's infuriating and it's maddening. The ADA Lally is such a fool, and I'll say this until I'm red in the face. He wants to discredit the entire system. The search team, the forensic team at the Massachusetts State Crime Lab. He wants to discredit the police working in so far 3 different police departments, all because he doesn't want to admit that this investigation was biased. It was ruined from the beginning, from shit cops doing shit evidence collection, and suspend reality for a second as far as they're concerned. If they were like, okay, Karen did it, but what if it wasn't Karen? Who else could it be? Could be Jen. Well, it's not Jen. She promises it's not her. Imagine you're just so well connected that you're like, Scout's honor, it's not me. I'm not a murderer, I promise. And you're like, well, she wouldn't lie about that. We're friends. So it's either botched evidence with a shitty investigation, or, at worst, they're framing a citizen. And why is ADA Lally involved in any of this? He can't even afford a suit that fits him. He's dragging his feet through court. He seems to hate his life. No one is clearly paying this man. He's just doing it for what? So he can fight against Jackson, for the opportunity to fight against a lawyer, a real lawyer. Maybe he likes seeing himself get fucked on live television. Or maybe he is into diaper porn and he really is wearing a diaper while he shits himself all over the courtroom. These are some things I could understand. But what I don't understand is what's actually going on. And so I thought I would share with you the story of the Walsh murder, where a dad could possibly get away with the murder of his wife because there's no body, there's no evidence except for some Google searches, and a really, really questionable team of people who looked into them, headed by Proctor and more than likely his boss, Yuri Buchanan,